Hey there, welcome to the sermon preview for this week. I'm really glad that you took a couple minutes out of your day to watch this, to prepare yourself for the sermon. We're continuing on this week in our He Went First series, where we're looking at how Jesus is our example of how we should live and interact with people. And so last week we looked at Jesus served. This week we're going to look at Jesus prayed. So how is Jesus our example for prayer? How does he approach God the Father? How does he speak to him? What does he speak about? Who does he speak about? Things like that. We're going to be looking at John chapter 17, verses 1 through 26. So it's a pretty good chunk of verses here, but this is just an incredible passage to look at because this is the longest prayer that is recorded of Jesus. A lot of the prayers that is often recorded for Jesus are just a couple sentences long. At least that's what is recorded. But here we've got 26 verses that Jesus was praying. And so this is a really incredible prayer, probably one of the greatest, if not the greatest prayer recorded in the entire Bible. And so as we look at this, we see just a couple things that kind of pop out here as we prepare ourselves for this. Some main things that Jesus does. We see, first and foremost, that Jesus prays for himself. Now, that might seem a little bit strange, or it might seem strange for us to follow that example, but as we dig into this, we'll see what was Jesus praying for about himself, what was he asking God for, and we'll see that we'll be able to relate that and use that in our own lives as well. And then he was praying for the disciples, those closest to him, those that he spent 3 years traveling the countryside with. He prayed for them specifically and for God to keep them and protect them. And then lastly, Jesus prayed for all believers, So that's past, present, future. Any believer between now and when Jesus returns a second time, that is who he is praying for. So believe it or not, Jesus was praying for us. In that moment, so many years ago, Jesus was praying for us. And so as we look at this, we see that Jesus prayed for himself. He prayed for those that were closest to him. And then he prayed for all believers, the church, and how they would relate to each other and be unified, and how that would be a picture or a validation or verification of who Jesus was and what his mission was here on earth. So there is a ton in this passage, a ton in this prayer. I can't guarantee that we will hit on every single point that maybe you're hoping that we hit on, but nonetheless, we're going to be looking at Jesus as the example for prayer. So as you're preparing and reading through this, just ask yourself, what sticks out in this passage? How is Jesus an example of prayer in your life based off of what you read here? So I'm really excited for Sunday. I hope to see you there 9:15 in the sanctuary. Take care.